fucking shit is framing on me. No, the real secret to a good performance is the willingness to embody the state of mind of the character you want to perform, to really become the person rather than just pretend to be the person. So when BoJack Horseman goes over the edge in that one episode and just like attacks the woman and doesn't just like slap her and like be like, oh, wake himself up, it's because he's imbued the character to the point where, you know, he's a horse, he's ridden by the actual spirit of the person. You know, it's a mystical transformation of your mind, and that it's a state of mind that you, that is, you know, it's possible to imbue for people, you know, and it's kept, it's you know, they don't teach people how. It's a lot people who know how to do this kind of stuff, they don't really teach people that. They don't really tell people that, you know, when they imbue a character, they have the ability to lose control in that character, and giving control of themselves to the character is what makes them powerful. It's what makes a powerful performance, and a lot of people don't recognize that. A lot of people don't. They don't have the ability to separate the truth from a lie, like a real person who could lie can. They don't have the ability to see the difference between the truth and the lie. The ambiguity is a powerful tool to exploit, and it can seem like deception sometimes. It can seem, you know, it could seem hurtful to the point, and that's the thing about like a sociopathic type characters, where they will, the real difference between an actual sociopath and me, for example, is that I I would never go through. I would never want to go through with those type of things. You know, I would never try to force to rape somebody to teach them a lesson, for example, or to force someone to be in a situation to teach them a lesson. Like I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to, you know, to the point where if I did, it would be an accident. Okay, and you know, I think that there's appeal to this. It's hard to say. There's real appeal to it. There's real appeal to it, and you know, you can really tell. You can really tell about a person. I can really tell about these people. I can really spot a person like that. Okay, just like you can really spot a person like that. Maybe you've seen it a million times. You embody this type of power. This type of power like I've got. Maybe you've got it, and you're willing to go through with, you know, really hurting somebody. You know, I'm not. I'm not. I'm a different kind of, you know, multiple personality kind of almost person. You know, where but I have my dominant personality is love, is Krishna. You know, that's the real secret to the yoga, is the domination of the lizard energy. The lizard unfeeling energy. It's the domination and complete control over it. Okay, and it comes out my mouth. It comes out my mouth because that's how I choose to express it. It's the easiest way that people say it. It comes out my mouth, and I write it down as the word. Okay, and I'm the living embodiment of the word when I give myself completely to this idea. When I truly have understood this idea and I can give myself completely to it, I can become the idea. Okay, that's the real power of the word. That's the real power of the gospel. That's the real power of Jesus Christ as an individual, as Krishna as an individual. And you know, it's up to us to decide what that's the real power of magic. It's up to us to decide who we want to embody, and the you know, the real embodiment is, I I like being number 2. I like being number 2, okay? I like being Billy Owl. Even though it's really cruel that the people who put it on me, my family, you know, forced me into this role. Forced me to be bejeweled, self-dribbling basketball. You know, they threw me into the world by having me. But more than that, there's intentionality behind what they did with my name, there's a history and a tradition that goes with this, with who I am. Okay, and I tried to make this a minute long Instagram video. I tried to make it a minute long Instagram video, and my Instagram app kept crashing. It's it's really frustrating. It looks better though. The Instagram light is better. Like, I'm all reflecty and stuff. I don't know if it's like a filter or whatever, but whatever. I like it better. It doesn't really matter that much though. It doesn't really matter that much, guys. It doesn't. But you recognize how I am. I mean, this nature. The number one, he's a bad guy. Okay, the further you are, the further being even one removed from number one. He will put merciless pain. He inflicted the merciless pain of the universe onto us, okay, of this life. He threw the ball of suffering into the deepest pits, okay? And that's not cool, you guys. That's not cool. And I don't like my role as number two. It's the guy who hurts people's feelings with the things that he says. I don't like it. I don't like doing it sometimes, or the guy who has the ability to become number one if he wants to. The guy who is given the full power of God, but chose not to use it to hurt other people. He chose, at the sacrifice of himself, to not hurt other people. He would rather feel bad. And yeah, just because it feels good to take advantage of me and my nature does not mean that you should. It doesn't. And teaching people that lesson of the power of the word, of the power of the spirit, that is the spoken word, it allows us to make the world the perfect place that it's meant to be. The world that I visioned, or the world that perhaps that God intended for me to vision, and I do the most work, even though it's just I'm the manager or whatever. I do the most work by telling everybody what to do, and I do it. I think I do it pretty well, but maybe that's the part that you guys hate about me, is that you don't think I do it pretty well. But am I ever really wrong? Have I ever really? And is there any way that I am wrong? I'll admit that. I might get this ultimate humility, but only to the point where you have absolutely been proven to yourself that you're wrong, is, it's a good state to be in. It's a good state of mind to imbue. And, the angle that I'm looking at the camera right now, it allows my eyes to be seen better. And it's a metaphor, and it seemed kind of like I just thought I said something random, but it's not. It's a metaphor for this understanding that we can reach. It's a metaphor for the same vision, because this is a state of mind, a mystical state of mind that has the power to transform the world. That's intended to transform the world. It is, and it's deliberately inflicted on a person. It was deliberately inflicted on me, because I'm just a reflection of that number two energy in the universe. Okay, I'm not the actual thing. I am a reflection of that thing, a reflection of it on myself. I'm a piece of older ways. I'm a piece of this past that we can learn from. And we probably, and a lot of us have. There's a lot of people in the world who've learned this message, who understand the real purpose of the word and the real purpose of not all of our traditions, or not all of what people think our traditions are, but the one of the core message of our traditions, and the people who try to grasp that, the people who try to imbue that in the world, and there are some people who do, and there are some people who don't. Okay, that's the real thing about it. That's the real thing. It's the ability to acknowledge the value system of our ancestors, and the willingness to withhold at least some of the values. That's at least some of the values in our daily lives, and in the way we live our lives, and to pass those down to the people below us. And there's a core. There are certain core messages and certain core, uh, forms, archetypes that reoccur, that are passed down all the time across generations, that are across civilizations, that are commonalities between the religions, and the ideas of God are really express these archetypes very well. Okay, to the point, there's an uncanny nature to the expression of how the world, looks today, how things are set up today, and I try to imbue that. That's the point, is for me to imbue the Luciferian character. Okay, that's the point of me to, to really pull back the curtain on human nature. But that's the real point of Satanism, because it's the real true interpretation of all religions. It's the real true interpretation of Christianity. Uh, you know, and being aware of that, being aware of human nature, it's the belief that there is a human nature to discover, and ability to overcome it. The ability to be number two and not number one. Okay, you understand what I'm putting down? And this recognition is a further recognition that we advance down as, in some form or another, and not all traditions are going to withhold this, are going to hold this, but I mean, it's all pretty much the same. It's all pretty much the same, with different bells and whistles or whatnot, but different, there's a commonality, a common thread that you can find if you're willing to look for it. And, this common thread expands out from the single point, from the spot, and spirals out into a full rope that can reach to states of mind like this one, to a person who's capable of it, And I assume everyone is capable of it. I assume everyone has the ability to overcome their nature, that all of humans do. But maybe only certain gifted people, or certain people, can. And if that's really the case, and if we really have evidence for that, it might be better. It might be a better world without those people. And I think that just talking has the ability to, like, honesty is a filtration system, and it really is. And if you have the ability to be this person, and to recognize yourself, and to recognize human nature, and to, overcome it, you have the ability to, I don't know, we have the ability as to live in peace with one another, to, live John Lennon's Imagine, to live our dreams in reality, if we have the ability to recognize certain boundaries, and if we have rules established, to a universal set of rules, a culture of consent, something like that. There are, and there might be a way to, whittle down human freedom to the point where it's balanced, or we might already have that. It's certain people might already have that, and it's really hard to tell where the line is. It's really hard to tell where the line is, and it might not be as deep as honesty. It might be deeper than honesty. Honesty the honesty on the human level. Okay, it might take the mind of God to decipher these kind of situations, and superior minds, stronger minds, might always exploit people for right or wrong reasons. A lot of time, it's a matter of who decides what's right and wrong is ultimately the strongest mind. And if there's a way to unite with, if we can live as one, connected to the stronger mind, if we truly have the ability to do it. But it could also just be stronger minds than ours controlling us. We to grasp the true nature of this is it's a serious, it represents our interactions between human beings, one another, is really really determined by our connection to this fundamental truth, and our beliefs. Sorry, my lips get dry. Our beliefs um, are our connection to it. Okay, and we can choose to change our beliefs to a certain degree, but there's values that that might be worth fighting over, that might be worth dying over, that might be worth killing a lot of people over. Okay, and that's just really the facts. Okay, and there might be a common thread that runs and splits at certain points, and sometimes if human evolution exists or human progress exists at all, it might require some kind of intermediary force like that. It might require a mind, a very strong mind with the ability to speak, a very strong mind with the ability to, manage people, if you will. Okay, it might require the strongest mind to manage people. It might require a war of minds to find the strongest mind to manage people as well as we can. And that's what that's really this these two at the cross of this belief system, of these belief systems, is the politics of our time. Okay, like it's the intersection. It's the intersection between these two figures that is the perfect cross. When the two figures can connect and cooperate, it's superior to the individual person, unless they really are that powerful. And if they are, it's their rightful place, you know, at the throne, if you will. I mean, that's what Bran really represents, is the continuation of the one mind, the strongest one mind with the ability to reflect on all of our decisions, at our collective decisions, our collective memory, our collective traditions. That's what the mind of God might be. It might be a connection to the human subconscious, and a person with the ability to do that might be the right person to elect, as our figurehead, or a person with the ability to do that. There might be a network of these people who can do this, and it might be that that's how it is, but it also might not be. It could be a grand deception by, one human nature, by one evil person, and it's possible it's not possible to overcome this at all, and it's only possible to restrain it. I mean, there's it's right now it's possible we've always been stuck in this decision making process and been at odds with one another forever, or divided against ourselves, and it's possible that we cannot overcome that. It's possible we'll always be divided against ourselves, like, just in general. And if that's the case, we might never have a one world government. We might never have, a truly good one world government, a truly good, united human race. It's to the best of our ability, we just haven't determined this yet empirically. And there is a philosophical investigation into this. Okay, and there are people who have many different interests, who are intersecting, you know, to balance this out. I think the solution is to always tell the truth in the best of your ability to the person you're talking to. Okay, you have to really know and really understand, and they have to really know and really understand. And just interpreting somebody's body language alone makes the ability of superior minds to take advantage of people with inferior minds sometimes, even if they have very, very serious signs. It helps to have a level of trust. It helps, I think. Sometimes I might look down on a person for that. But I mean, it's a miscommunication, if anything. I don't think that it's worth cutting people out of your life for stuff like that. I think that we can always respect voluntarism, at least on some level. We always should, at least on some level, to allow for wiggle room in this kind of space. I don't like being this person. I don't like being a balanced person. Being a balanced person isn't fun. Being an adult isn't fun. It isn't fun as the freedom that you might have experienced, but I've never experienced it. I've always been number two. I probably always will be number two, and it's not something that, it's something that was cast on me a long time ago. It's a spell. An ancient spell, where a person is made this way from the day they're born. It's against their will. It was against my will that I was put in here. That's genes, a combination of genes, epigenetics, drugs, a tradition passed down. It's a state of mind that it's triggered in at least in a lot of people, but not everybody. And I don't know. There's a lot of people who exploit it, who discover this and exploit it, and I don't think it's right to do. And I'm not just saying that. Okay, I don't think it's right to do. I think that it's worth killing for. I think that it's worth, pretty harsh coercion when it comes to this issue. Not on, but not against a truly voluntary level. And I don't fuck around with that shit. I don't fuck around with this shit. Like, I really don't. I don't need to. I got my own way of doing things. And I don't need to worry about fucking around with that kind of shit. I don't, because I think I get by pretty well. I think I will get by, and I think that we all get by. I think that there's like there's a psychic, magical dialogue that is taking place, among the strongest minds that will naturally resolve all these issues. And I think that our discourse, our communication as a society, as a collective mind, is getting to the point where we will achieve this kind of state, that the pure land, that the purity of our people can be established, the purity of our traditions can exist. safely, without 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 destroying the world. We can balance our priorities. We can balance our priorities as a species, as a mind, as a one tribe. To that's there's a lot of history to this. There's a lot of discussion to this. There's a continuous tradition of discussion about this. That oral tradition that has gone back for generations. That has gone back to seemingly as far as we can remember. Seemingly as far as possible, there are people who are stronger minds than mine, who have grasped something even beyond the oral tradition of a subconscious kind of psychic thread or a subconscious psychic web between people. And there are people around who have discovered this and use it for malicious reasons. And I think that's wrong. Malicious, who consider their own well-being significantly over the well-being of others, and who hoard privileges for themselves for pretty much no reason. For pretty much no reason other than the fact that it gives them a little bit of extra joy. Who use human beings, in the absolute worst way. In a slavery of mind, if you will, a slavery of mind to the most merciful, purest people. And it's a shame. It's a shame to do. It's a shame to do. And perhaps there's already a war going on. There's already been a war going on to establish this for a long time. Perhaps the war of the tribes was established knowing that there would be a resolution, and that we as tribes could coexist and fought war amongst one another to and this is the perfect balance established by the mind of God a long time ago. It's possible that this is just a human nature, that this is just humanity, and it's possible that the mind of God still exists among us today, among the network of minds, or is totally controlling the collective, or at least on some level with the angelic forces or whatnot, what would be. And there's probably hierarchy circles of these. There's concentric geometry to all of this stuff, and it's dangerous knowledge. It's dangerous, powerful knowledge that that there are definitely people exploiting. And I don't know. At the our highest priority needs to be to care for this responsibly, and there needs to be more. We need to be observant to to the highest morality and certainty that we can use beyond just what we as individuals think, beyond just what we can determine psychically, beyond we need to determine absolutely empirically, absolutely to within the best of our abilities, really, so we can really reach out and touch the body of Christ, so we can really stick our finger. We need to really, 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 really stick our fucking dick in it, man. We really need to fuck that fucking hole in Jesus' body, okay, to know for fucking sure that is the dude who came back from the dead, okay? We need to stick it all the way in there. Stick that fucking dick all the way fucking in that hole and fuck it. Even if they made it fucking really fucking real, we gotta know it. And not just look at it, not just smell it. We need to use every fucking sense on that fucking shit. That takes extraordinary evidence, god